Hello, happy day to you, whatever day it may be when you stumble upon this video in my channel. My name is Beamy. On my channel, we talk about a lot of things. It's really like, I don't even know what this is, I release music. I'm an actor, I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm a writer. On this channel, you can find my music. You can find, like, probably acting clips. You can find like audio read alouds of my short stories. You can find my music videos. You can find my live performances. You can also find me rambling a lot and talking about life and society and dynamics with people and whatever. Give me a topic and let's chat about it. Let's collaborate. Let's have conversations. But in today's video, we're talking about why I'm not voting for the second straight election. And to begin this, I will start off by saying that the first election that I was ever able to vote in as a legal voter was 2016, which was between Trump and Hillary. And the one that Obama won, I guess it was his second term, right? In 2012. Yeah. I didn't turn 18 until 2013, so like less than a year later. So I didn't get to vote in that one. And honestly and realistically, if I had been able to vote in that one at that time, Amber, come here. You gotta stick with me. I would have voted for Obama. I remember it being a dramatic thing in my family because my dad voted for the third party. He didn't vote for Obama, he didn't vote for Romney, he voted for Ron Paul. And my stepmom and other people giving him crap for, if he had lost, like, it would have been your fault for voting for the third party, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think much of it. I thought it was kind of strange, but wasn't informed or educated enough to speak on it. So then by the time I get to vote in my first election, also, I'm tripping. My dad didn't vote in the 2016 election because he was dead. I'm thinking of 2000, not 2016, not 2012. Not 2012, he voted in 2008, but not for Obama, for Ron Paul. Then he died in 2011, so he didn't vote in 2012. And at that point, we didn't have conversations about it anymore once I was an adult because he was gone. And so basically what I'm saying is, by the time I did get to vote in 2016, I was like, everyone hypes it up. Oh, it's your God-given right. It's your duty to your country. You gotta vote. You gotta vote. You gotta vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Just vote, 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 vote. And it's interesting when people say that, it doesn't matter who you vote for, just go out and vote. And then you vote and you tell them who you voted for and they're like, what? You shouldn't have voted for them. You're ruining everything. And it's just a joke, which I'm gonna get into. But basically, when it was between Trump and Hillary, I remember those debates. I was invested. I was watching it. I grew up following politics. I grew up going to my stepmom's cousin's like weekly meeting, which was like a bunch of 65 and up, 80-year-olds sitting around every Wednesday, eating barbecue and chicken and chatting it up about what old people talk about, which of course is pretty much nothing but politics, maybe some sports, but whatever's on the news. There's not much like about real life. And if you consider what's on the news real life, then I encourage you to learn, or like less pretentious way to put it, recognize that what makes the news, what is newsworthy, is what is unusual. Because every day, all day, in all of our lives, like a bunch of mundane, normal things happen. What is mundane and normal? Well, opening the door for somebody, rescuing a puppy, like helping somebody in a crash or something, like going to work and doing a good job. Like, none of that is newsworthy. What's newsworthy is something that's shocking and crazy and wild and not normal, not a part of our everyday lives. War, death, murder, guns, abuse. Like, that's what news is. It's anyways. So so when it was between Trump and Hillary, everyone's like, well, they both suck, so you got to choose the lesser of the two evils, and the lesser of the two evils is obviously Hillary. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of people out there who believe that the lesser of the two evils is actually Trump, because the Clinton family is pretty awful. Regardless, I maintained an attitude of, I don't believe in the concept of the lesser of two evils. You're acknowledging that there's two evils. That's enough. There's two evils, period. I'm not voting for evil. I'm not voting for one evil or that evil or what does that even mean, lesser of two evils? If they're both evil, why is that where my vote's gonna go? And so when I voted between Trump and Hillary, I voted, here, let me make sure my phone's not gonna die while I rant about this. But if I'm gonna vote for anybody, it's not gonna be either of those two. And so that election season, I did vote. I was still like, oh, I gotta exercise my right as a human being, as a citizen in America, make my voice heard. And I voted for the third party, the Green Party or something. I don't even remember her name. She had no shot. But I did my duty as a citizen and I voted. And she didn't win, and Trump won. And then when it was between 2020, between Trump and Biden, we've had 4 years of Trump. Biden was vice president with Obama. It's between those guys. And I'm like, so you want me to decide between the lesser of two evils again? And this time I actually did research the third party. I mean, I did the first time too, but like even more so. And I was just like starting to detach a lot from politics and starting to detach a lot from giving my power, my life experience, what I perceive reality as, or what my day-to-day like existence in the world can be, to somebody on a TV screen that I've never met, that has tons of money and is like doesn't care about me at all, and to pretend like any of those suits like cares about the general public at all, and isn't just invested in keeping their power, getting more power, and in order to do that, maintaining this facade that they actually give a shit about policies or betterment of the poor class and the middle class, and like all these terms and identifications that they use about humans, let alone the fact that like I don't even believe in like different countries being hateful to each other. We're all human beings on one planet, and this is Earth. And I don't subscribe to this very conditioned and forced upon and regurgitated, passed down from generation to generation concept of like, as an American, you gotta be this. Like, I'm not even American. I was just born where I was born as a human being on a planet that is my home planet. The rest you put on me, you taught me. I wasn't born like, heck yeah, I'm a little baby American. I was born like I'm just trying to function and survive as a living species in life. And the rest you put on me. And the rest you put on everyone else. And through grandparents and parents and each other and society and jobs and the way that everything's set up, we just fall in line and follow it and agree to it and then convince ourselves that it's real. And so anyways, I voted third party. So yeah, by the time it was 2020 between Trump and Biden, I was like, this is all script, like this is all, I was like, Trump's gonna win. I said this way back then. You can ask whoever, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You don't have to believe me. But I said way back then, Trump's gonna win, then he's gonna lose the re-election, Biden's gonna win, and then Biden's gonna make a bunch of crap look terrible, and Trump's gonna reemerge and Trump's gonna win. And that's exactly what has unfolded so far, and I think that's exactly what will continue to unfold. I don't think there's even an election to like argue about as we lead up to November. I think we've known this entire time Trump's gonna win, and it all fits everything that's happening in the world, and in the ancient scriptures and foretellings and Native American prophecies, and but you don't have to believe me. Like, you can look all this stuff up yourself. You can learn about the unfolding of the transition of the ages, and then look around and be like, well, there's no doubt that is exactly what is unfolding. And I mean, yeah, of course you could say, well, they said the same thing in the 80s and they said the same thing in the 1700s. There's always been narratives of the end times, of paranoia and fear bait to convince people, oh, Jesus is coming back and all this stuff. But I'm not talking out of a place of fear. I'm not talking out of a place of like, oh, we got to get ready and for an agenda or for a narrative. I'm just looking at what it says and then what is happening, and the birth pangs that Jesus speaks of, the natural disasters, the earthquakes, the storms, the chaos, the tension in between people and life. It increases in frequency and intensity bit by bit by bit. So all the signs have been there for over a century. But the frequency and the intensity of them is more extreme than ever. And in 2021, I just looked at society. It was after the George Floyd thing and the riots that were going on all over the world that are still going on. And I was just like, this isn't sustainable. This polarity, this division, this violence this tension is not sustainable. And it's gonna pop. And what that pop is what is all been, and I think it's in my lifetime. Personally, I think it's within a few years. And everything that I've been sensing since 2021 about the lead up to 2025 and the outcome of 2025, I've tried to refute it myself. I've tried to be like, well, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's off, maybe it's further in the future, maybe it's not my life, and I can't disagree with it. And I feel what I feel for a reason, and we'll see, everything that I've anticipated that has happened, I stopped speaking on, because I realized that we're gonna hit 2025, specifically in my opinion, around mid 2025. And if everything that I've been feeling, especially by the end, if we get to January 2026 and everything that I've been feeling just never happened, then I'll accept it and own up to it and adjust and adapt and move forward with a clearer perspective. But I've been given no reason to believe that everything that I thought would unfold in and by 2025 all the way from 2021 isn't exactly what's playing out. I don't think I'm a prophet or a psychic or anything like that. I think I've had a lot of experiences and I pay attention and I think about it a lot. And maybe I'm wrong and I'm all right with that. But anyways, this is about politics and why I'm not voting. But I mean, all that ties into it, which is why I just went off on that tangent. But then, you know, talking about lesser of two evils, it's not really two evils, it's the same evil. And it's two heads of the same snake. And they're buddies, they're best friends. They go hang out at baseball games together. It's all a show. They go laugh at each other and high-five each other in the White House and in their meetings, and then the cameras roll and they're putting on their show. This is America. What else have we ever done? And then I've met people who are like, well, I don't think the government's really lying to us because that'd be too much, and like, you know, it'd come out of it. And I'm like, okay, maybe you want to choose to be in the perspective that the government isn't lying to us anymore, but you have to add anymore. And I think it's strange that you think suddenly they're just gonna be super truth tellers when they have an entire history of their entire existence of lying to us. And that's fact. That's evidenced so much. And so much of my generation has never even heard of the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which is just one minuscule little example that exists all throughout our history of a complete false flag operation that they made up an entire thing that never happened in the ocean because no one could prove it did or didn't, just to initiate violence and escalation in Cuba. And it was all a lie. And we reported to our citizens that that's what happened. And then it came out years later and the FBI declassified documents. And I have the documents if you want them. I think you can find them online still, but if not, I'll send them to you. Like, I've read them all. And it's all there. Like, yeah, they lie. And it doesn't matter. It's not like one party lies. Oh, only the Republicans lie. Oh, only the Democrats lie. They play this game with each other, but they have to work in unison. They have to be on the same page behind the scenes for them to keep this charade up. And this isn't some conspiracy. This isn't more and more people are waking up to this truth. I remember in 2020 when I was like, I'm not gonna vote. I'm not gonna participate in this fake game. And everyone hated me for it. And in the years since, in the last 6 months even, I've heard so many people tell me, like, yeah, I'm not gonna vote either. And I think it's incredible. In 2023, and I can link this article down below too, there was an election in Spain, I believe. And neither candidate won because not enough of the population, the percentage of the population went out and voted. So they couldn't declare a winner. With the way our electoral college works in America, can you imagine if 75% of the voters on election day were just like, you know what? No, I'm gonna be in charge of myself today. Who would win? Then neither candidate would be able to have enough percentage in any state to win the electoral college, to win the election. And of course, I'm sure Spain did this too. They're gonna find some other loophole or some other way to present a candidate and keep it going. But it'd just be further evidence that it has nothing to do with us. And they can make the rules whatever they want to fit whatever they want. And I think you're insane. People act like I think you're insane if you're comfortable with the lesser of the two evils concept. We deserve better as a human species, as a population on this planet. Like, You know how many people, 8 billion people on this planet, you're telling me only 2 candidates you can present to me are evil? I don't want to hear it. I'm not, that's a lie. That's garbage. Politicians and politics is just there to divide us. And I think like we should have a holiday where it's like the anti-purge concept, kind of like a holiday where every day on that day, every year, and it'd take probably a few years to fully get going, but there's more genuine, amazing, incredible people out there in the world than there is evil, dark ones. And if you don't believe that, then you're just consuming the news and you're not actually experiencing the world. I've traveled all over the country. I've been to so many different places, and most people that I come into contact with, which is a lot because I'm always out and about, are wonderful people. Yeah, sure, maybe lost here, maybe different opinion there. We all have our life experiences, but we're all trying to make it. We're all trying to be our best. Like we all want love and to be heard and to be received and to give. We're pretty giving beings naturally. And let me make sure. Okay, 2%. I'll try to wrap this up. Anyways, I'm not voting in this election between Trump and Biden because I expect Trump to win no matter what I do. I also choose at this point to really detach from politics. I look at it from a buzzard's perspective. I'm flying over and I'm looking at the landscape of it all, but it has nothing to do with me. It just has to do with, it's like a measuring stick of how far along in the process are we of the transition of the ages? How soon, how is humanity reacting to this show? What are they saying? What are they speaking on? Who's waking up to not voting anymore? Who's like getting really intense and angry about this? What are the candidates saying to the public about anything? How are they handling themselves? You can see the panic in their eyes at times. It's slipping away from them. And the more that it slips away, the more drastic and dramatic and over the top they get. Man, I think the lead up to November and through the end of this year is going to be freaking nuts, but it has nothing to do with me. I'm going to be chilling. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be thriving and making so much progress in my life. The rest just is a show. And I hear people at the park arguing about it even today. Like, people are getting really intense about politics the closer we get to November. And part of the reason I wanted to make this video is so if anyone comes at me in real life and is like, well, what do you think? Who are you voting for? When are you going to vote? I'm going to be like, look, I don't have anything to say on the topic. I release content and I have a whole video about this. If you want to hear my perspective, you can go watch it. But I have nothing to engage about because I'm grateful and happy and I focus on myself. My authority in what I can do and what I can be and what I can live and what I can give to others and how I can interact with others comes from me. I'm not giving that authority or that power to some stranger, especially not a stranger that I know is a con man or woman. And I know not everybody feels that way, especially like older generations who were passed down this and the country's been the way it has for so long and the world has been the way it has for so long in society and blah, blah, blah. But we're not even talking about that long. America's less than 300 years old. You know how old humans are? You know how old planet Earth is? This is a blip in time that we are moving on from to return to a natural state of existence that is like actually true to our existence as the guardians of this incredible heavenly planet called Earth. I appreciate you listening. Curious about your thoughts. I'm not really going to engage about politics, but if this resonates with you, pass it on to somebody. Like, let's start let's start the conversation at detaching from politics and not just left versus right, and talking about who's the lesser evil. Peace, love you, and see you next time. Later.